The Gamebreaker 5 is a big buzz new release coming from Ebonite on March 21st, and if you see the typical "is this the strongest symmetric ball ever" clickbait, I think you can actually believe it in this case. This thing is cray-cray. I am on the Kegel Chromium Challenge pattern at Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas, where they take great care of us. We always use this pattern for testing because it's a good benchmark pattern. It's not too easy, but not too tough, so it really helps us figure out where the balls fit and how they relate and compare to each other. The graph is linked in the description if you want to take a look at the details. My layout information is up on the screen for those that understand, and if you don't know what all the numbers mean or all the core numbers we're about to talk about next, I have a few instructional videos linked in the description that will teach you everything you need to know about cores, core dynamics, and layouts, but I still need to share the details for the more experienced viewers. The GB5 features the same symmetric enhanced V2 core that the series has always had, 248 RG and an 048 differential in 15 pounds, and it creates a round, rolly, continuous motion. The cover is GB 12.7 solid. The hybrid and Pearl versions were on the GB3 and GB3 Pearl respectively, so the Gamebreaker fans out there should have a really good idea where this one's going to land. It comes out of the box at 1500 grit, and it's just laughably strong. I mean, I chuckled for the first 5 or 6 shots before it got frustrating pretty quickly, so unless you have negative revs and are bowling on heavier oil than I've ever seen, probably want to go kick this thing around in the parking lot to shine it up a little because it's chalky. I'm not gonna lie, this one pissed me off for the majority of filming, but stick around and hear me out because the point of a review is figuring out where a ball is going to fit, what it's going to fit for, and who it's going to fit for, and whether or not it fits for me on the testing pattern has little to do with anything. This is just an illustration of what the ball does, or a barometer for the reaction so that we can figure out all those things I just mentioned. I was expecting and looking forward to a strong, round, smooth, continuous reaction, and what I got was a strong, round, smooth, continuous reaction that just needs quite a bit more oil than I expected. I was also hoping this could be a league ball for me because this general shape and reaction fits me extremely well. It might still be once I get the cover to relax a bit, but I think the frustration is mostly my fault for getting ahead of myself. At the same time, I mean, I've thrown the strongest of the strong on this pattern, and some have made me work before, but this is why I can't do the live comm style of video, because this thing turned me into Hell's Kitchen Gordon Ramsay inside of 10 shots. It's incredibly strong to begin with, but the box surface is borderline trolling. It reminds me a bunch of the NV Tour right off the rip, but the GB5 is sharper or more responsive because while the EVT is an ASIM, it's got a pretty low diff and int diff, so this thing digs like an NV Tour with extra boom down lane. I also don't mind saying that I cut about half the footage out of this one because it was super redundant. It was just obliterating the head pin repeatedly as I tried to make different adjustments in each zone to see what I could do or if there was anything I could do to make it work, and ultimately I just needed to get deeper. Aside from just being strong, that strength also slows it down somewhat gradually but deceivingly quickly. Again, much like the NV Tour, which we'll see next. The core isn't heavy rolling or chuggy, it's just that the cover traction is getting a lot of work done. Look at the speed it comes off my hand and then pay super close attention to the ball all the way down the lane. Off my hand, looks fine, then right before halfway down the lane it starts slowing down, and then from 30 feet to the pins it puts the brakes on pretty hard, and of course the slower the ball is traveling, the more it's going to hook. So here are all the things to pull out of this as we start looking at the NV. It holds surface extremely well. I thought I'd just keep throwing it, give it a couple games of lane shine, and it'd be fine, and it wasn't. So that's a good thing. You're not going to get the big reaction drop-off that you get with other stuff. It's not going to hook a million out of the box and then turn into a marble 2 games later. Stuff that lane shines super fast causes problems at tournaments, especially for lefties, and this one is going to be an automatic in the bag for tougher, heavier stuff and nationals. It's definitely strong. You can see me having the exact same challenges here with the Envy. It's just slower on the back end, so while it digs and slows down as well, the smoother back end or the friction response gets it to hold pocket more often. I think obviously if you're an NV Tour fan but just wish it had a little more junk in the trunk sometimes or wish you could get deeper with it, the GB5 is that ball. This is definitely the strongest symmetric ball I've ever thrown, and it's not particularly close. Previously the Summit was, but it's been my 3rd arrow league killer for months now with surface, and there's zero way the GB5 gets down the lane from there on the house shot, just no prayer. I think it's also stronger than a handful of asymmetric balls, so obviously there's little to nothing that's a ball up. If virtually everything is a ball down, that should be fairly easy to figure out. So if you're looking for a big, strong, round-shaping, continuous ball that can get as deep as you can, the GB5 is it. It's going to be great at blending heavier volume cliff shots. If you have higher speed or generally have trouble getting something to hook, this will be a launch it down the track monster. I really do like the ball. I'm just disappointed that I'm not going to be able to use it as often as I was hoping. That's really the hang-up for me here, and that's about the best compliment you can give a ball, wanting to use it as often as possible, and even when you shouldn't be using it, should say it all. Again, as long as you're aware of the strength, I think this one definitely lives up to the name. Once again, March 21st is the release date for the Ebonite GB5, along with Radical's Radical Conspiracy and Outer Limits Pearl, as well as DV8's Hater, Hammer's Hammer Effect, and Black Pearl Urethane. Down in the description is a link to Bowler's Mart that will get any of the balls featured in this video ordered for you. I do have to note that I do receive a 5% commission on all sales through the links, and of course don't forget my code ROSEDOLL10 to get 10% off your order at checkout at CoolWick. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.